All right, so parts have came in. I'm fucking excited. I still need to go pick up one more part, I think. But actually I don't need to. I need to call and cancel that part. So what's came in? My shocks came in, both of my CV axles, all of my motor mounts. Got some CV axle seals. I had ordered brake lines, and I went out to my Ford Tempo. It's out in the side because I knew it had parts, and I had some parts in another rig at my house. So I've got both front brake lines. I've got two for the rears. I believe I only need one, but we'll see. What else? We've got new e-brake cables. We've got new control arms. Master cylinder. Power steering line, which I need to send back because I had one. The old washer tank, had a brand new one in my Tempo, so deal. I pulled my my cruise control unit off of the Tempo because it's got the short cable. The other one's got a real long cable in the wrong end. Went to go hook this one up and fuck. Somebody cut that fucking thing and it wasn't me. But I pulled the gas one apart to see how it hooks up. I'm gonna see if I can get that cable. If not, I'm just gonna make one out of a, pre-length fucking bicycle cable for brakes or whatever. It'll be easy enough. I'll probably put an eyelet on this or steal one off of another rig I've got to hook up there. What else? So I've got everything. I've got power steering pump. I know it's a good one, but I may see if I can get a rebuild kit for it. But where we're at now is the air conditioning. Now, I went out and I checked my Tempo, and I left it in the car all hooked up. It still had a lot of pressure in it. It should be good, although it is a different pump. The lines are different, but this one will hook up here, and the electrical's already set up on this side for it. So I think I'm gonna leave that, but steal the complete unit out of the Tempo and just keep it on the shelf in case this one does not work for whatever reason. Another thing I found while I was looking at the Tempo is, there we go, this sway bar, anti-sway bar, is a lot stouter in the Tempo, like a lot. It's almost 2 times the size of this one. The brackets are the same, and then on this bracket here, I've also got another lateral bar that goes up and hooks to the bottom of the engine. It's kind of like a torque bar. All 80 foot-pounds of torque, I guess, is too much for the stock mounts. Haven't got any new mounts in. Actually, I've got to get some bolts because the one for the trans mount in the front down there, it's actually riveted to the mount. So I've got my spare one. I've already drilled it out, and I've just got to get a couple grade 8 bolts to put in it. But these nuts to take the sway bar off, these are, I'm guessing, supposed to be welded down because I've put a wrench on them. They are not any wrench, not metric or standard. And yes, I've got some of the 32nd inch standards. None of them fit it. They all fucking rounded off. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put some solid welds on those. Or actually, no, I don't need to, because I'm taking the whole fucking thing off and replacing it with a Tempo. So I just need to pull that bolt there, those two there, and here. And let's take that whole sway bar and put it in. It looked like the control arms are the same. So the sway bar next down to the actual threaded stud, put your nut on, goes through the control arm. That should all fit. Oh, got my new power steering rack. So I'm gonna need to fish that out of there. I did, on my Tempo, I found the mounts to hold the, that fuel filter. She hooks up. And she mounts here. And you can kind of see in there, it's already got the holes for it, as it does for these things have a water filter on them for the cooling system. There's a mount for that. It lives down here. However, it is on the Tempo. It's over a little bit farther. I could probably bend this or put a longer tab on that hold down. Or I could just get the whole fucking brake line, because it's already stripped, the cab. I can just get the whole brake line, both sides from the Tempo and put it on. They'll fit. If not, I could, you know, finesse them a little bit to make them fit. The other thing is, found my wiring harness and started plugging things in. Few things that are missing, like my plugs for these guys. And I went to my Tempo and looked, and they all come through this harness with, you know, extra shit for the Tempo, or for the diesel. This one doesn't have it. Now I could just find out what they run to, run them dedicated wires inside the cab, but I'm gonna try to get the shit disconnected from the Tempo, pull it out, just use the whole thing so it's all, you know, one factory harness. Everything I'll need will be on it. I won't have to fiddle fuck, look through diagrams to try to plug stuff in. What else? Oh, so my fuel line, I traced it down on the gas one. It just runs down, runs right inside a piece of the unibody frame rail and goes back. And this is the supply line for the gas is the size of the return for the diesel. So I'm just gonna go get some hose, you know, or some pipe, just straight sections. Probably try to get 3/8, and well, the feed line's 5/16, but I'm gonna get 3/8 anyway. Just because I plan on maybe one day. It's definitely gonna get a turbo, but I may see what I can get overseas for, you know, bigger injectors. See what I could do to turn the pump up and see how much. I don't know too much about these really, other than I love them. I don't know how much boost these things can handle. I know overseas these things came turboed this same year, everything. I don't like the little turbos on them and the way that everything mounts up to a different intake. Probably a different exhaust manifold. I'm not going to buy any of that shit. I'll do a custom one. But in any case, fuel line should be pretty easy to get back and then go plug into the vent, or the filler vent that dribbles into the tank. I don't see any problem with that. Or I could run it into the evap that then runs in, but I think that they're somewhere back there. I'd have to do it all in steel. I don't want to dick with that, so I'm just gonna. I don't know what I'll do with that. I don't know if the tank has a hole in it, because I did get this from Pick and Pull. You know, I didn't get it from Old Boy for $300. Pick and Pull sold it to me for that and another $1,000. So yeah, I paid $1,300 for this pile of shit. Don't laugh, it ain't funny. The other thing I found on the Tempo is the power steering lines, which these ones, they don't fit either car. Like the bend, as it goes kind of this way, this 90, as it sits right now, it sits like that. It should be rolled the other way. So I'm gonna see if that one is. And also they've got, I don't know, like a fucking pressure sensor fitting, which isn't on this car, isn't on any of the other ones I have. So I don't know if that's a fucking bleeder or just a plug, sensor port, whatever. What else? Well, I don't know how much else there is right now. Be working on it and try to get a bunch of this shit in. Oh, my fucking coilovers. So I did get new shocks, but I want to see. I have a ton of these cheap fucking coilover kits, conversion kits, and I found one to fit. This is a little bit stiffer spring than what was stock, so it should work. Right now it's at pretty much the height that the original was set up at, but I've got some decent wheels and tires for this that, you know, I want to drop it down a little bit. So we've got it mocked up on the old shock, and we'll just see. I'm probably gonna end up cutting a lot of this perch off I've got an adapter that fits tight on the tube, that then fits tight inside this tube. You know, these kits, you put them on, they fucking rattle because they come with like O-rings to put in there to take up the gap. And they work for about 6 miles. This one, the way I've done it, it'll be tight. It's not going to rattle. It's not great. I mean, these fucking aluminum, I might stack a couple more collars in here. I don't plan on it lasting forever, but if we can get some kind of ride height adjustment out of it, I'll be happy. Didn't get calipers. Oh, that's what it was. Pads. I've got to go pick up some pads. And so far, everything that I've been able to buy for this car has been ridiculously cheap. I mean, it's like it's this shit they've had on the shelves forever and they're trying to make space. Like, I don't know, the master cylinder was like 45 bucks. Control arms, $25 a piece, versus the control arm bushings to just replace their bushings. It's like $19. But there's a whole ball joint and a big piece of, you know, and that's probably cast aluminum. I mean, they're giving the shit away, and I'm eating it up. And I did find the Tempo I had picked up between I was up by Shasta, between Redding and Shasta, and I just found another one up in the same area. It's not a Tempo, which is what I picked up there. It is it's a standard 4-door Escort car, and the interior looks immaculate. They said it runs, has low miles, which, man, they only 100,000 they roll over. But I know I don't need another one, but I mean, do I really need anything but food and water? It makes me happy. So we'll see. I might pick it up. I might let it go. I've got 3 of these engines, and I've got 2 Tempos, this, and an Escort, or a Pony Escort, that, you know, all kind of just parts and pieces that I needed. This parts Tempo I got out here once I get the harness out of it and the instrument cluster. Maybe a couple little interior parts, like door panels. They look okay. I don't know if they swap over to this, but I know the center console and everything does. I believe the entire dash does, which this dash, other than that front piece up there being cracked, it's actually in decent shape. And again, the brown is kind of growing on me. I've got pillar pieces and plastic and shit for the rear. I'm gonna have to have the headliner made. I think I've said that in a previous video. But little stuff I gotta track down, like all I have some of these, you know, pieces for this. Some other shit I've got to look for, like the fucking tail light. I found a couple, but you know, these tail light lenses, they want more for this than they do anything I've bought so far. So we'll see. Instrument cluster's got to come out. I'm gonna pull the seats. I'm gonna rip the whole interior out, everything, so I can get it all washed. I believe I could still get a carpet kit for these. They're around 300 bucks, I think. We'll see. But things are gonna start coming together here fairly quickly. Part of me wants to just get everything in, just mock everything up, make sure that it's all there and works, and then pull it back out and start really dialing through shit. Like this whole wiring harness, I want to tuck back up in here, do a decent tuck job on this whole thing. I don't want to see a bunch of wires and hoses and shit. I want to hide as much of it as possible. Just this wiring harness, it's gonna go under probably, but I don't have time for all that right now. I want to just get it together and go. It's gonna be something trying to get the power steering out. I might pull the engine out, but if I pull the engine out, I'm gonna want to pull the trans out, put a new rear main seal, you know, where do you fucking stop? I think right now I just need to get it together to where I could, you know, drive it in and out on weekends when I have time to work on it. You know, it's always fucking time. I never have time. But I'm done doing shit for other people for a while. Everybody's gonna have to wait. I want to do my shit. So that's one positive. Oh, and back to the coilovers. Now, I do have somewhere, I have some camber caster, you know, fucking plates that'll go on here to where if I drop it and I'm, you know, looking like a fucking idiot all cambered in, I should be able to adjust that. The way these are set up, I might be able to just drill a couple holes here, put the camber back. I don't believe I'd need to change caster, probably just camber, so that'd be easy enough, you know, just move it back. But I do have camber caster plates somewhere. They're not for this. They're probably for like a Honda Civic or fucking Subaru. Or I worked at this performance shop where we did a lot of work on Z's. That's where I bought just a ton of, you know, aftermarket performance. They're all cheap shit, but you know, they used to go for a couple $100 back in the day. I bought just a huge lot of them. I must have had 200 of these sets, and you know, I'd sell them $50. Just get, you know, I didn't pay much for them. The owner just wanted them out of the shop. That, a ton of stainless exhaust, full complete exhaust systems that I had cut and hacked up for different projects. And worked out, but you know, I remembered I had those kits. Went in there, slapped something together. It worked. It should work. If not, if it's a little too stiff or a little too soft, I got some stiffer springs. I've got softer springs. I've got some kits to set up like a progressive rate. It's 2 different springs separate. It's all shit. It's way too much for this pile of shit, but it makes me happy. I think that's it for now. I'm gonna try to get some work done on it, and I wanted to have it out this last Monday, but you know, waiting for parts and everything, and I didn't want to shove it back together, roll it out. I just figured I'd let it sit in here, which I had to do a couple jobs outside. Wish I would have done inside with the weather. It's getting warm, but that and shit, having to strip stuff out of the other cars, they're full of wasps. Every door, every fucking crack and, you know, pocket you open up, there's bees flooding out of it. So luckily I haven't been stung yet today, but it's gonna happen, I promise. God, I love this car. Sponsor me, send me money. I need more shit. Luckily, a lot of these parts, at least the ones I didn't have, the owner of this ranch, my employer, he's happy to dump money into it. Well, again, it's not much. It's a few $100 laying here between all this shit. So he's happy to do it. So that's what we're doing. We'll be back, hopefully, with a bunch of this shit in the car. All right, we're in the Tempo parts car, and the harness section that I need that isn't on the wagon is just these 2 sets of wires here. One goes over to this deal. It was sitting on top of the heater box. That's been broke. Somebody's hard soldered those in, so I'm gonna need to cut those to pull them through. And then the other harness that comes through is this one. Okay, so we got that one. And that just hooks into, where the fuck was it? This box. And what is it? And this little extension that goes down to the clutch. So there's our neutral safety switch there. I'm considering this pulling this whole column, all this wiring out, make sure that, you know, if I swap it, I've got all the pigtails inside that I need and outside. The dash, I don't need. Dash isn't worth a fuck in this thing. Son of a bitch. But I did notice, fucking dash. Did notice on this heater box, and looky there, diesel. I don't know if there's a difference, but I'm assuming there is since this one's marked diesel. So we'll get it out, but essentially this wiring harness here, all this, it goes into here, plugs off into the engine harness, that all goes through to those two. So we'll pull those out, and there's not much left on that side, just go pull it through onto the inside. Okay, I need to take this is a nice one. Nice. But yeah, I got a couple little bezel pieces. It's looking good. All right, so I got the inside, this part that comes out. I got this big fucking harness out of the Tempo. So this is everything under the dash. This is everything in the engine bay. And you know, a couple things I was looking at. The wires that I knew I was missing off of there are gonna be these. This one just goes to this silly box, so I can mount that inside here, because also what I think I'm gonna do is I'll move all my vacuum stuff inside here, just have it pop through, put this washer box outside to where I could run this entire harness, everything in here, and have a couple grommets pass through into the, or actually no, there's a fucking hole. So I could run everything between the inner fender well and the fender and the body, run it up here, have a couple, you know, have my lights come out and hook up to here, my fan, hook up into here. But everything else, like this whole cluster fuck of wires and a couple vacuum lines will be tucked in there. This whole engine harness will go down underneath and come back up into there, so you're not going to see that, or most of it. Same thing over there. All the alternator shit, go through, tuck it, tie it off to the inside of the not the fender, but the inside of the body there, and run it through, pull out what I need to hook up. But I think it's going to clean up the engine bay a lot. When I came to, you know, deciding to pull this out, you know, first I kind of looked at what connectors I had, what wires are in this corner, and, you know, it's the same plugs. However, they're same plugs, but they're wired different. Now, if you look at these, it's missing a plug, but they're on opposite sides. Different colors, different gauges. I don't know what goes to what. And it's the same thing on these ones, couple different ones, different color ones. So I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna pull it out. I have to pull the dash out in this anyway. I'm gonna put the dash from my Pony Escort in here. It's immaculate. So a lot of that interior is gonna end up going in here. That center console piece, e-brake, this piece, I'm gonna take that out of the Tempo. One of the Tempos, probably the one I've been working on. I'd like to get that thing completely stripped, get everything I want out of it, and then, you know, just take the body and everything in for scrap metal. I need to get it out of here. I need to get a lot of my vehicles out of here that I've been saving parts for this thing. But there's a few spots on here on the engine harness side. It does disconnect here, and there's a couple other plugs that disconnect. So I know this one was pretty roached, or, you know, the engine half side of it, but mine is still really good on this engine. I think there might just be one wire I need to, you know, fix the plug on or steal the plug and wire it onto here. But that's about it. There's a couple little modules still in the Tempo, wrapped up to steering column, if they're in this, then I know I don't need them. I'll probably pull it out, you know, just put it on a shelf, keep it. I'm gonna keep every part I can for these fucking things, because, you know, you can't find them anymore. Luckily, I'm still finding parts here and there, not for the diesel, for the gasser, but, you know, a lot of this shit interchanges. You know, I go to get the sway bar bushings. I know the ones on that Tempo are shot, but I might just have to, you know, figure out the diameter of the bar and just find some from a, you know, Ford pickup or something that'll match, that I can make work on there, because I'm definitely putting that thicker fucking sway bar in. But that's where we're at for the day. Probably gonna wrap it up for the day. As Major Feet, getting that fucking harness out intact, not completely destroying everything. This side of the harness that goes into the cab, you know, a lot of it needs to be kind of loomed and taped up, but I'm kind of glad it's open and all the shit's falling off of it, so that I can inspect some of these wires, make sure that, you know, none of them have got hot or started to burn on it, which I don't see any, which I'm really fucking happy about. All my connectors they came out fairly easy. A bunch of the clips broke, but, you know, I'm not worried about that. There's no tension on any of these things to pull them apart. You'd hold them back together with a fucking zip tie or hot glue. Yeah, overall, it was a success. Oh, what is that little guy? Huh? What's that little guy? It's been cut. And I didn't cut it. Well, luckily, oh, well, it goes into something there, so it's shared. But I've got, actually, my wife called. I had some parts some packages show up today. Hopefully my manual's in there for this thing, so check out a few wiring schematics. But, you know, there's plenty of room to remount this on the outside. And, you know, it's not bad looking. I'll probably paint it, but I don't know, maybe we'll leave it so we can see the fluid level. That's just washer fluid. Fuck it. I don't even need it. Let's put some Rain-X on the bitch, huh? Get rid of this and some other fucking wires. How about that? We'll see. We'll see. Oh yeah, I got my little dingus. It's not the right one, but she'll work. Put a little piece of foam over that. A nice little filter. I mean, shit. You can't tell it's not the right one. But, yeah. Happy. Successful day. And, still got tomorrow to work on this, but it's time to call it a day. I'll be back